watching QTV this morning. I am your host, Jennifer Sonko, and joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Balde. How was your weekend?
Hey, Jennifer, we are back again.
Yeah.
It's an amazing weekend. I had a good time with my family. You know, I spent the whole weekend at home this time. I could not go anywhere.
All right.
You know, how were you doing?
Yeah, I had a busy weekend because I went up country. I went to CRR.
Oh, yeah.
So it was some kind of back to the land for me because for the first time I used the sighing hoe and a donkey.
How does it feel?
It felt good to me. And, you know, when I went to CRR and had a conversation with most of the women farmers there, it showed me how grateful they are as individuals, you know, and compared to us living here, the things that we go for, the things that do not even mean anything to them.
Definitely.
So I had a conversation with them and I realized these people are so grateful. And, you know, farming is such an important thing to them. There's this woman that I had a conversation with. For 10 years, she's been a victim of paid labor. She couldn't actually have her own farm. And recently she's able to do it. So she was so grateful with that little thing that she's able to get.
Just look at that. It's important sometimes for you to take a particular day and go visit such people.
So it was
to know
really
how
good.
It feels, so that you can appreciate the little things that we have. Sometimes we tend to take things for granted.
We tend to, and when I went there, I felt like there are things that I used to take for granted. There are no supermarkets. The place is extremely dry. They don't even have access to certain things, and they're still happy with what they have. They're grateful with what they have as women and children running around. So it was a good experience for me.
And how is the rainy season?
Yeah, so according to them, just to give an update in relation to the rainy season, according to them, they're saying right now as we speak, it's very good. It's really good according to them. According to them, they're ready to work. If they have more support, they're ready to do this. But I guess viewers can just stay tuned to QTV. I'll be sending a report in relation to the farming season when it comes to women's participation and all of that. So just before we go for a short commercial break, we will give you a rundown of some of the things that we, unfortunately, our best segment, you know, the segment that we love so much is not here today.
Where is the code?
Yeah, but I'm sure tomorrow it will come your way.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Inshallah. So we'll go straight on to the newspaper review. And we are joined by our very own colleague, Mamudumbo, to help us analyze some of the stories. Also, Community Watch is here. Social issues. We'll be taking a look at life of a freelance nurse, social entrepreneur, Fatoumata El Kasama. She won the 2021 Youth Excellence Award by the Stone Circle. And we also have the entertainment updates. Kengman Sweezy will be here and he'll be giving a tribute to Tata Dinding. May his soul rest in peace. Tata. Thank you so much for all of the good things that you've been doing, you know, history, and the list goes on. I think it's on the papers and it's something that we will delve into in depth. Also, yeah, he will also do an interview in relation to that. So basically, this is all we have for you today on this morning program, but we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to the newspaper review. Do stay tuned.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV's This Morning, and we'll just head right on to the newspaper review on Gambia Daily.
Jennifer. Okay, let's take a look at the Gambia Daily. The main headline reads 132 million OIC road projects to begin. President update about timely implementation. Nipping polio in the bud. Health Ministry plan to vaccinate children second round. and the fisheries sector to amplify government gender mainstreaming success. WANEP partners commit to breaking barriers to women's political participation. This is what we have on the Gambia Daily Journal.
Interesting. So moving on.
Foria?
Foria, we have Tata Dinding Jabate passed away, and we also have network engages domestic violence workers on sexual and gender-based violence. I guess the newspapers today are not very visible, or am I getting old?
Yes.
Court to rule.
It's the
court to rule in NIA 9 case. We also have President Barrow to work with Parliament to bring lasting solution to insults. We also have Gambia awaits Saudi Arabia to start construction of OIC roads. Gambia administration of second dose of Sinopharm vaccine set to commence today. IEC publishes 2021 voters registration list. We normally forget the editorial, and on the editorial today, a contest of citizens or contest of billionaires. So that is all we have on the newspapers.
Absolutely. So it's
thank you
going
so
to be
much for
very
joining us,
interesting.
Mr.
Mr. Mbooj.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
All right.
And I understand you don't have what do you call it, the inspirational quote today.
And it's our favorite.
I'll give you one.
Yes,
Oh,
can you help us with one, please?
To err is human.
Okay.
Err means to make an error, to make a mistake. To forgive, divine.
Okay.
Let us learn to forgive.
Yeah, it's important. And when you talk about forgive, just the last time we talked about Nelson Mandela's quote in relation to his struggle. And I mentioned it here. After he got out of jail, the first thing he did was reconciliation. His leadership was not based on revenge. And sometimes I think we should just let it go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even then, a lot of people thought that he was a bit weak. He should have been stronger.
Sure.
You know, he's bought into this white, liberal, as it were, agenda. But as the quote says, to forgive is divine. It takes a special soul, a special quality of soul to be able to forgive.
Yeah.
This drives me to a particular video I was watching on Rwanda, you know, after the genocide. There's a lady that came on TV reconciling with a man who murdered all her family, you know, the husband, the kids, you know, and some of her family members. So the woman said, it doesn't make any sense for me to still feel very bad, you know. Let me forgive, we move on. It's for the future.
It is for the future.
It's important for us to forgive.
I think it's hard sometimes to let go, but like you said, it's divine. You know, it comes with some sort of thing where you need to actually let go. But it's a gradual process when it comes to certain things. So on Foria, we have IEC publishes 2021 voters registration list finally, and I know the revising code obviously is about to start. People are being encouraged to buy forms. If they have any grievance, they can put it forward.
Yes, absolutely. That's a necessary process, judicial process that will take its own course, as you said. But so far, what have we got? More than 900,000. I think we were expecting, maybe 1.3, just over 1 million. We've got 900,000. It seems that the whole world, when it comes to participation, the electorate participating in voting, the numbers have been going down. Perhaps we would have liked to see maybe 100, maybe a million. But this is what is, and yes, as rightly as they should do, publish it for everybody to see. Those who want to challenge will challenge, and then the process will go on peacefully. Hopefully there's no need for anything else. I mean, we have a court system that is working, so we trust it and just wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, so Ibrahim, I think this is a chance for the public to go and check if their names are spelled right. If your surname is right and all of that, just so you'll be able to vote the right way on the D-Day.
I would have thought that what was actually done during the registrations. One would have thought that that sort of thing was taken care of. You know, the verifications and, you know, clarifications, getting the names exact and all those details. One would have thought that sort of thing has already been done. I would have thought.
But now is the time they're being encouraged to go to their respective centers to check it out.
And
check and verify their
very
names.
Important.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's not easy because these things are done by human, and you just said to err is human.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on Gambia Daily, we saw that women are being encouraged in relation to political participation in the country. At some point, do you think it is necessary to have political parties have a deliberate policy whereby there's a certain percentage that is given to women in their participation in these respective political parties? Is that something that you believe in, and why?
Positive discrimination. Well, it's got its arguments.
Okay.
But again, for me, when you are like a complete Democrat, it just depends on who is nominated and who is elected.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But given the nature of our societies, there are good arguments why we must have positive discrimination in favor of women, because in many ways, the traditional view is that, you know, it's man's place, politics is for men, women stay at home. So that narrative is only now beginning to change. So you will still have these societal norms. Women will have this huge mountain, really, to climb. But it seems that you're making inroads. I think things will happen naturally.
Okay.
To my suspicion
so
is...
are you trying to say that you're not in for a deliberate policy put in place?
Yes.
You just want it to flow?
Absolutely. That's the way I am.
But do you think we would ever, in such a patriarchal society, do you think we will ever achieve that, whereby it just comes naturally?
Let me put it this way, yeah? My father was more patriarchal than I am.
Okay.
I'm hoping that my children would be even less so. It is thinning. It's just the
do not
culture.
have a guarantee in relation to that.
But it always does. This is what they call the generational change. Even when I talk to the younger generation, the youth today, their ideas, yes, they slightly reflect the old-fashioned ones, but there are other ways that they are also changing. You just can't help but leave the age into which you have arrived. Okay. Right now, the zeitgeist, the spirit of the world, as it were, it's more gender sensitive now. So they will grow up imbibing these concepts. And believe me, the generational gap actually happens.
So we have to wait that long?
What do you do? Can you force change? What do you do? Then this is why a lot of people become dictators, because you want to see the outcomes to what you want to see immediately. And it doesn't work like that. True change comes through persuasion, not coercion. You cannot force it. You cannot even legislate for it. How many laws have we got in our books? But again, the society is not like that. We do not implement. So how do you change it?
Well, let's see what can be done.
What will happen?
What seems, if we have to wait for generations, it might take a lot of time. But this is left to the activists to do their job in relation to making sure that women get what they deserve.
Believe me, all long-term change happens slowly. Okay. Historically, this is how it has always been.
Moving on.
Well, Janaba, let's take a look at the...
So moving on, we also know that Gambia awaits Saudi Arabia to start construction of OIC roads. This is something that people have been waiting for, because the publicity was all over the place and we weren't aware of what was happening. But finally, the government has come out to say...
When it comes to these road projects, the OIC road projects, we are a few months to the OIC conference in the Gambia. My fear is whether we'll be able to make it on time, Mr. Boyd. That's the only fear that I have.
Well, you said few months. How do we know that? We know that it's in 2022. I am not even quite sure when in 2022. I mean, the last time for me, I thought that it was around February, but I've been made to understand that it's much later than that. Well, let's put it this way. The government's been following the progress, what's been going on. And I would also like to think that the Saudis as well, because it's very interesting that the president said that they have been waiting for the go-ahead from the Saudis. I would like to also think that they've been following it. They would have seen how long it will take to construct these roads. So I would like to think that they've got their benchmarks and they are following it, and we will construct these roads and have it in time for the OIC
well,
meeting.
it's very important, the government of the Gambia, making sure these roads are constructed, because it will benefit the populace. It will be an advantage for this country. Anything done for this event will be an advantage to us.
Obviously, it will be a game changer, but let's also be mindful of certain things. Well, historically, we remember the one that happened in Senegal. They didn't complete all the roads. So let us be careful here. So perhaps we may need to complete just enough to have it, and what remains, then they
Okay.
will do it afterwards. We've seen other countries do it. OIC in Senegal, that was
Okay.
precisely what happened. So there are possible permutations. We do
hitches
not know
here
how
and there.
things will
Okay.
pan out.
But Mr. Butch, I think the important part is that the fact that it will be done.
Yes.
We will get it as a country,
Yeah.
considering that we need it at some point.
Well, and
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think this is part of the government's top agenda to make sure these routes are completed on time, because I've seen President Barrow going surveying these roads with some of the authorities responsible for the construction of these routes. This shows that it's part of their agenda, isn't it?
Oh, big time. I mean, what we've seen with President Barrow recently is that once in a while they call it surprise visit. So he's been paying these surprise visits to some of these government institutions. Yes, we've been seeing him very quite active in these things.
All right. Moving on, let's take a look at health in the country. We've seen that polio, the minister has come out to actually declare that polio has become a health emergency in the country because of some sort of vaccine hesitancy. I wonder when this narrative will change.
With this one, I'm not sure whether it's necessarily vaccine hesitancy, because I think the vaccine hesitancy is more associated with the coronavirus. I think with the polio, we just discovered this. You know what I mean? That
But there's
this
some
outbreak.
sort of vaccine hesitancy because
Yes.
if you
Let's
get to take the vaccine.
No, let's take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
Remember that the last detected case in this country was in 1987.
Sure.
And then by 2005, WHO declared us polio free. So, but when this pandemic broke, they broke out this COVID-19, health analysts have been warning that we should be very careful. You know, our concentration, our focus on dealing with COVID might mean that you take your eye off the ball with other diseases.
Yeah.
So that was always a threat, always a risk. But now that it is back, it has rolled its head, dealing with coronavirus and polio virus. But still, luckily, there's a vaccine for it.
There is.
Yes. And then with us, we've got a high percentage of immunization, over 90% according to the UN in this country anyway. So we've been consistently having it high.
Yes.
So there is that culture of people going to immunize their kids. So there is that culture. Yes, it is sitting uneasily perhaps with this current, this vaccine hesitancy. It's just the current
Yeah, because we can't roll it out completely at the
General,
end of the day.
You know what I said to myself when I saw the minister doing his press release on the polio vaccines. I said many people will be using this. They'll be like, maybe they want to use the polio message now to vaccinate us, because as far as we have vaccine hesitancy when it comes to the COVID-19, so they are using this to vaccinate us, the COVID-19 vaccine. So there'll be a lot of push and pull. People will be having a lot of things to say about this vaccine. Mr. Mboj, we have been concentrating a lot on COVID-19. So we forgot there is another one out there.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's not just
with.
unfortunately, it's not just with the polio, but it's with a lot of other diseases as well, cancer, HIV, you name it. So moving on, I deliberately decided to have this last because it's sad news. So this is something that we can close with. Tata Dinding Jabate passed away. What can you remember in relation to Tata Dinding?
I have to be honest, I'm not much. For us, with the Kora, it was more like Jaliba Kuyate, Lalo Samate, especially when we were younger. So I do not know much of Tata Dinding. But still, from what I've heard, you know, be it in social media, and I've heard people talking about him, he was a brilliant Kora player.
Yeah.
Mr. Mboj, let's look how funny this whole situation is.
Okay.
You know? It's funny to know people will start knowing your impact when you are dead.
Yeah, that's the sad
You understand?
part,
In
right?
the Gambia, the situation is very sad. People celebrate you when you are dead.
Yeah.
That have been suffering for a very long time, you know. So I think this notion should change, Mr.
Let's pick it this way. And when you talk about people will celebrate you when you're dead, I mean, it's all over the world. Huh? This is what human beings do. Sometimes some people just fall below the radar. It's just how societies are, because new imperatives come up, the complexities of daily life, all sorts of things come. It is really very, very sad, but I'm not sure whether it is sort of fair, the way you put it, almost like blaming all the people. They don't help you until life doesn't work like that. Let's be realistic here. Sometimes you get help. Some people are fortunate to get help, but not others. It can never be 100% one way or the other. So let's learn to deal with stuff like this and perhaps celebrate his music, what he left behind, what he stood for. Then you move on forward. I think that's the fertile way of thinking.
I know the Ministry of Tourism and Culture sometime last year held a press conference where they talked about the fact that they would change the narrative in relation to the plight of musicians, giving them some honorarium and all of that. So hopefully if these things exist, it will be able to help them when it comes to at least living a better life at some point when they're not singing anymore.
You see, with me, I have to, this is very interesting. Of course, you need, for instance, this National Center for Arts and Culture. They say, they're doing whatever they can. But with me, whenever government comes near culture, I'm not too comfortable with that.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Why is that?
For me, culture, government is so programmatic, whereas to me, culture is dynamic. It's better left to artists. And in Europe, in many parts of the world before, there was a system of patronage, but that came from money people. You see, once you have money and art coming together, then the society, that's far more interesting than
having
the
it coming from the government.
Government always have their political agenda. Let's keep that out of culture. Culture is much wider, it's much grander, it's loftier. It penetrates, goes to your very soul, as it were. It's a slightly different sphere.
So you are saying that the public is supposed to support in this instance, not the government?
For me, government is just enabling. It's just a facilitator. Maybe put in the right legislation, put us in contact with the right governments. It's just facilitative. And then leave people. I think leave people, private sector. You must come in. That structure of patronage, you're having money. I mean, the Florentine Renaissance was between money and art. Not much of government.
Okay, so that is all, but we're just sending light and love to the family of Tata Dinding. Like I said, he's helped when it comes to preserving Gambia's culture and all of that. But you did mention that you didn't know him so well, but I know there are a lot of people who do and have been celebrating him. And within this period, you've learned a lot about him as well, just like me here. But Ibrahim, it seems you know a lot about him.
Well, I am a fan. I listen to a lot of Kora music. I've been listening to Tata when I was very young. So I know some of his songs, although I will not sing them here.
We don't want you to.
and I should be careful. Maybe I know one or two of the songs, but didn't know there was
the
Tata
individual.
I will go and download.
Yeah, please do that. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mboch. So just stay tuned. On the entertainment update, we'll have a tribute. So we will go in depth when we get to the entertainment update in relation to Tata Dinding. So that is all we have on the newspaper review. So moving on, we will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will take a look at the Community Watch. So on the Community Watch today, we have residents of Lamin are celebrating the inauguration of 225 new solar streetlights worth over $1.5 million at a colorful ceremony held at the community Bantaba. Let's take a look at that, and when we come back, the conversation continues.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTVs this morning. I'm afraid we have to keep Mr. Mboj with us. We'll be taking a look at our Community Watch segment. Like I mentioned before, went for the break. Lamin Sateba switch on streetlights. They benefited from a $1.5 million worth of 225 solar streetlights. So let's take a look at this video, and when we come back, we'll have a discussion in relation to this development. Do stay tuned.
According to the community, the project was initiated by natives of the community currently outside the country, who have plans to light up the entire community of Lamin Sateba. Lamin Toure, the chairperson of the Lightning Project Committee, said the goal of these sons and daughters of Lamin in the diaspora is to bring joy to the community by giving back to the community, adding that the move could prompt others to emulate the initiative.
Our sisters that used to wait along the highway when they come from outside town, you know, they don't need to wait for anybody now to actually escort them to their various homes, because the street is well lit, you know, with an equidistance of 20 meters apart, the lights. So obviously, even a needle, you know, you can be able to pick it up, you know, once it drops. So obviously, we are very, very proud of the people of the diaspora. We are very, very grateful to them. We cannot thank them highly enough.
On behalf of the women of Lamin Sateba, Binta Bojang said citizens must take control of their own destiny by coming together to initiate meaningful development projects than expect government to bring all the development for us. And she expressed her delight at the successful launch of the project.
We are very proud of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. We are praying for their good health, long life and success. We feel secure with these street lights.
The Secretary General of the Village Development Committee, Yusfa Gomez, thanked all those who contributed towards the success of the project, adding that this kind of initiative would greatly help complement government's efforts in community development.
It has provided lighting throughout the zone. And within this short period of time of its inception, the crime rate and criminality has gone down in this place. In fact, it's eradicated in Sateba. And to go further, the impact is that other zones have started emulating. We have 3 other zones, though it's a different model, but we've already done a similar project in those zones. And as a VDC, the other zones in Lamin have started contacting us to seek advice and guidance on how to implement this similar project.
As well as the obvious benefits of lighting the streets, these new streetlights are expected to help significantly reduce crimes, including burglary within the area, while improve women economic activities for vendors who will be able to trade at night. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Welcome back, viewers. That was the Community Watch by Omar P. Jallo. Lamin Sateba switch on lights, $1.5 million is worth of 225 solar street lights. And according to the man there on the report, he says you can now pick up a needle around that area, around the Bantaba, and I'm so happy about that.
Jay, you forgot that I'm a native of Lamin.
Okay, and you know some of the challenges over there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think it's a good one.
It's a good one.
Doing such a thing, Mr. Mboj.
Yeah.
What do you think?
He just said that you can literally pick up a needle.
Yes, and another sort of astonishing stuff is that they've eradicated crime.
Yeah, totally eradicated.
We need that formula. But of course, yes, fantastic. Obviously, we all need lights, street lights now. And the fact that this community initiative, people living outside, but we know what remittances or people in the diaspora, how much they've been contributing here. And yes, and the idea that hopefully others will emulate this and do it in their communities is all fantastic. And well, maybe now what we might ask of the community is maybe, do we have a maintenance committee? Because normally, maybe with the VDCs, in the Village Development Committee, maybe they'll have stuff like that. This is the key. Now that these people have done this for us, so how do we keep it maintained?
Well, sometimes that is the problem. It's not just a matter of putting the lights up, but it's a matter of maintaining them, this proper structure. What do you think?
That's precisely it. You must have a proper structure like that. Even with what the diaspora, whatever they're doing, should we have a more structured form of providing funds so that it can keep on going? Some of these ad hoc is okay sometimes. We can have these ad hoc philanthropic gestures, which is all right. It will provide succor.
So you're talking about a coordination mechanism.
A coordination mechanism, a structured way where it can keep on flowing. Then we can be initiating projects here and doing
keeping
stuff
account
like
for
that.
it as well, because remittances,
accounts.
sometimes we talk about the fact that we are not even sure, because there are things that come in some form of informal way. So Mr. Bahum the last time was here and talked about the fact that he feels like remittances should be more structured, so we know how we account for these things and calculate them properly for our GDP, just to know where we stand as a country. I think it's a very important point. Let's talk about social corporate responsibility. It's something that we've been singing here, in as much as we're also depending on the diaspora to actually send money to implement some of these projects. I think it's important that the private sector also comes in here and there in relation to these things.
Yes, and you do hear that they come. I mean, when you read in the newspapers, you do get news items here and there. Yeah. This company has done this for the community as part of their social corporate responsibility and that sort of thing. Yeah. But again, what you want is that when you go to the community, they will tell you actually what they want.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that any philanthropist can provide really what they need, as it were. You know, donating will be based on need. So it is good that things are more structured. Without the structure, that's when you will not have that sustainability. And then in the end, you know, you will just rely on people's generosity, good spirit. Well, fine, but these things are sort of random. They're so arbitrary. Yeah. Sometimes they come, other times they don't. Yeah. Whereas you want a more structured flow, as it were, of resources.
And sometimes, Ibrahim, it also brings about some sort of duplication of efforts. Because if you don't go to the community and ask about their needs, then the same people are going to be bringing the same thing because they think that is what they need.
That's it.
Yes.
So perhaps most places should have a kind of donation strategy for, you know, potential philanthropists to know these are our needs. If you want to donate anything, please make sure that you donate us what we need. So everywhere should have kind of their donations.
Not a bit strict in a way, kind of dictating.
In a sense, I am, but how else can we do it? If you want to have, have the right impact, the right outcome, how else are we going to do it if not that way?
Big question.
We must have your donation strategy so that people who will give, they will understand that this is what they want to give, because there's a fear that you might have some NGOs or certain organizations who will want to just come and dump things on you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there are many interests, many factors to consider.
Talking about that, recently we had the NACA, the director of Nana, Nana, and he was talking about the NAFA project, and I can remember you asked him in relation to giving people materials, and they're like, we want to give them money because they know what they want. So I think that is a perfect example of what we're trying to put across.
Looking at these lights, I mean, this is done by citizens of Lamen. Let's look at the general knowledge of some people, the way they think. Everything has to be done by the government. While the government have other priorities, other things to do, although it is right, the government should roll out these lights for them. But are we going to sit and wait for the government?
No, let's be honest. For me, people of the left, I'm so right-wing. I prefer smaller government. I think government should be facilitative, you know, giving the right laws, maybe giving certain people or certain organizations tax breaks so that they can provide things. I think that private sector is better at doing things than government. But this is my ideological bent.
But Mr. Mboji, there are certain things that are human rights that government needs to do. Access to water, access to electricity.
Absolutely.
In as much as we want private sector to come in, but this is the sole responsibility of a government. Let's remember that these are things that they used to campaign.
But this is it. The fact that these people have done it has sort of proved that this is not the sole responsibility of government. It is part of their responsibilities, but it doesn't have to be the sole responsibility of government. We've seen what
in a normal sense it is, but other institutions just come in.
Oh, absolutely. Let's not deny that. There's no, we're not trying here to absolve the responsibility from government. Perhaps really to withdraw the scale, because with me, all I see in newspapers and what I hear, government must do this, government must do that, government must do this, government must do that.
Sometimes.
But I've seen other societies where I've gone into their history and seen how civil society organizations actually built their societies. I mean, government sort of, it's a reflection of what I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. Once I become something else, I do things for myself, I move away from the dependency culture, and I do things right, then government will change. I am not sure, but there's a school of thought whether government can come and change me. I think that I, as a citizen, must have to change first before government changes. There are other schools of thought. You have those Benthamites thinking that once change the laws, put in this and that instrument in place, then people will change and follow. I'm not sure.
Mr. Mbod, this is where I'm heading to. I think before people wait for the government, why not you change yourself first? If you change, then the government can join you.
What was it that Obama said? Be the change you want. You have to be the change that you seek.
Yeah, you have to be the change that you seek, but the environment as well has to be conducive. But the government is currently working on the OMVG, so let's see if it comes. Probably this community might not need the solar street lights because it should serve the whole country at some point. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, we'll see what the OMVG provides.
Yes,
and so.
we will
But
take
one
a look at
suspects that you'll probably have a combo for now in the short, medium term.
Yeah.
You'll have a combo of fossil fuels and renewables. Bringing in solar, you'll have some areas where they'll have the renewables and some areas where they will provide it for by the fossil fuels.
Yeah, so it's a gradual process. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Mbod. It's always good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. I like being with you too.
All right, so we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right onto social issues. And we are so excited because we are about to have the winner of the 2021 Youth Excellence Award by the Stone Circle, Fatoumata El Gassama. She will be talking about the life of a freelance nurse as well as a social entrepreneur. Let's take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will take a look at that.
One nation, 8 tribes. We are the smiling coast of Africa. Gap-toothed, wide smile, rich melanin skin, radiant with the colors of a rich tapestry of cultures, telling one story of unity and beauty. Wrapped in the soft folds of a mother's sir, a Khalifa's grandbuba, we embody the past of our ancestors and the promise of our descendants. Follow the records of our history, this story that tells of a people watered by the river in the gleaming sun of a coastal nation. Listen to the folk tales, those old tales we grew up on. Lebon, Lupe, Amon Nafi, Danaam. Hear the music of an entire nation in the language of its heart and mother tongue. Our tongues are heavy with the song of our people. Rich and thick it rolls off like domoda, soft like yasa, bena chinla, nyokomom. Feel the beat of our pounding feet as we dance to the sounds of a throbbing drum, ageless in its rhythm. The griot's kora that speaks the wisdom of the ages. The sweet sound of a mother's lullaby bringing even sweeter sleep. We clap a melody with young and old hands, a symphony full of the pleasures of life, the joys of work and home. We are Gambian. Bi suñu cosaan la, suñu dëkk, suñu bos.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. I am your host, Jennifer Sonko, and joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahima Balde.
Oh, yes.
And
this morning,
we are joined by Fatoumata El Gassama. We're so excited. She's the winner of the 2021 Youth Excellence Award by the Stone Circle. Congratulations on this award.
It's good to have you.
Not her first recognition, anyway.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Jennifer.
So how do you feel after being announced that, after it was announced that you were the winner of the 2021 Youth Excellence Award, marking International Youth Day?
It was an exciting moment for me and my team. Like you said, it's not our first award, but we were not expecting it though. Like, we have a lot of young people doing amazing things in the Gambia, in their communities with limited resources. So for us having this award, we think it's a blessing from God. Yeah.
Did you know that you were nominated for this award?
I had no idea. I was just working. We recently started working on a project from an award that we got from Global Youth Mobilization, a $5,000 grant. So it was on a Sunday. I was just walking, and then I received a call that I was announced the winner of the 2021s.
How did you feel?
At the moment, I was like, really? Like, why me when we have, because I believe we have young people, especially women in rural Gambia. Like, when you go there, you see the things they are doing, you know that they deserve a lot of awards.
What special thing have you been doing to deserve this award?
So I believe it's the work we do at Girls Pride. It's not just me. The award, I said, it's not for Fatmata, it's for Girls Pride. Because I have a team, it's not just me doing the work. So the award is for Girls Pride, not for Fatmata Kasama. I cannot do all the work that we've done and all the impact we've made in the Gambia, especially when it comes to sexual and reproductive health. So according to Ibrahim, the thing that motivated us, or why they thought that we were the best team for this award, it's because we are talking about issues that people don't talk about. Like, we're talking about menstrual health, sexual and reproductive health issues, things that our community consider as a taboo. It's Absolutely. A no-go area. Yes, so if we can come out and talk about it in the classrooms, in the communities, and having platforms like the Youth Dialogue, JEDAPA has been so supportive, giving us that platform where we can come, sit down, talk about those taboos. How do we break the taboo and make the conversation normal in the homes, in schools and communities? So they believe that is why they gave us the award.
All right, Fatu, you talked about Girls Pride. I know apart from Girls Pride, there are a lot of other things that you do, which we will delve into step by step. But because you mentioned that Girls Pride is the main reason you feel you got this award, take us through Girls Pride and how it started. Tell us your story, you know.
So Girls Pride, the reason why it started, it has both personal reason and something that is linked to the community. So growing up, I never had the opportunity to talk to my mom about my period or even have someone to buy pads for me. So when I go to school, I'll keep the money that my parents give me to eat. So I'll save it so that I can get pads. You know, sometimes when you do that, you get hungry, you know, your concentration in class decreases. Or sometimes I'll not go to school because of the bleeding and the pain. So these are all the things that have affected my education at some point, because your performance is affected. That means your grades will be affected. And also having poor menstrual hygiene management, you know, gave me infections. Like after your period, you have infections, recurrent infections and all that. So when I finished high school, I studied nursing. I learned so many things, you know. How do women and girls prevent simple infections that they get from home? And then from work experience and then from the voluntary experience, because I started voluntary experience in 2002 from the organization formed by one of our teachers, Mr. Khan, the founder of Watson Gambia. So since then, I started learning how to give back to my community. And from experience working with communities and then seeing young girls every time coming to the clinics, or when you go on outreach programs, they'll come and share the same experience that I've been through. So I was like, so this is still happening. And then whenever I go to my mother's village for holidays, you see the same thing. Sometimes you see that girls will just sit down, they just get up and they stay in themselves, which causes a lot of period shaming. You know, if you are in a community where people, or in a classroom where when you get up, people will just, your colleagues will just laugh at you and all that. You know, you become ashamed, you don't want to participate in class, like it affects your overall performance in school. And you will see that girls, the number of days that girls will miss out of school affects, like, it's like 10 to 20% of their school days. And we know the number of days that, so for me, I believe education is the key or the driving force that can take our country forward.
Okay, so moving on, let's now take a look at the reusable parts that you've decided to invent. Probably maybe this is something that you learned from another community. Just take us through how this reusable parts came about, considering the fact that your experience was that you did not have access to the normal parts that are being sold at the shops or at the supermarket, and then eventually you invented this.
So I would say this is not something I just sat down and then came up with the idea. So after all that experience, I still had this idea, what can I do for my people? What can I do for my community? So in 2017, I had the opportunity to participate in the Mandela Washington Fellowship. So I was placed at the Syracuse University. I was doing public management. So through a friend, during normal networking session, I learned about her project. This is a retired American lady who goes to northern Kenya, buy sanitary pads to keep girls in school. So I was like, this is an idea that I can do in my country so that I can change the problems that are affecting girls' education. So when I came, I started doing my research. I went online. I did a lot of text research. So I linked me up with companies that manufacture parts. So I reached out to them. And then, so the first idea was I wanted to go in as an intern to learn on the job, how to manage such things, how to make them and all that. Unfortunately, I didn't get any. None of the companies accepted me. So I went on YouTube to learn how to make and what are the materials. So fortunately for me, a lady from Philippines sent me the layering, like names of the materials and all that. I also got a lady from Canada. They implemented a project in South Sudan prison on how to make sanitary pads. So she sent physical samples of the pads for me. So I went to the market, start searching. I could not get the appropriate materials. So I said, as of now, I have to go and learn how to make this and also look at materials that I can use, improvise materials that I can use and start from the basics. So that is how I got to make this reusable part. And now I am glad that we are able to get the material that if you go to US, if you go to Canada, if you go to China, anywhere you go, any developed world, wherever you go, the same materials they're using for the parts, that is the same materials. Come 2020, January, inshallah, that is what we are going to use, because we believe that our women deserve better, regardless of their socioeconomic status or wherever they are. We should give them quality.
Okay, talking about socioeconomic status, I want to understand the perception of people in relation to reusable parts, because I can remember the last time when you came to the youth dialogue, just after that I had questions in relation to how hygienic they are. Is it something that is going to work, or if you use it, it means you don't have money probably to go to the shop to buy the other kind of parts that are not even environmentally friendly. So generally, what comments do you get apart from that?
So similar comments. People believe the, reusable parts are for the poor, but if I want people to do a lot of research and see the trend. People are moving from disposable part to reusable part. Because when you look at the environment, climate change effects, we are all seeing it. So everybody is looking for what is sustainable, what is eco-friendly, and what can save our planet. So using disposable parts, it's okay. But when you look at the effects that is coming after the disposal, like we dispose it anyhow, we don't know, or we don't have how to manage the waste at the end of the day. So it's a landfill that we have parked somewhere that we don't know what to do. Already we have waste that we cannot manage.
Waste management is the problem here.
One woman will use about 16,000 disposable parts, between 12 to 16,000 in her life cycle.
In her life.
Yes. So how many women do we have in this world? So if we all want to use disposable parts, because disposable parts are made of 90% plastic and chemical. So plastics, they don't decay. So it's like we are causing a lot of effect on our environment. You bury them or you burn them, people will start having respiratory tract infections. So I would say people should not associate reusable parts to poverty or socioeconomic status, but let us rethink whatever products I am using or manufacturing, what is the effect on the environment? That is why one of the SDGs that we address is responsible consumption and production.
Well, Jennifer, it has to do with women. Does it mean
it
that
has to do with men too?
It doesn't have to. Listen, it doesn't mean I will not participate.
You should participate. And in fact,
I am a father.
You are a father, and in fact, part of Fatu's advocacy has to do with men speaking out when it comes to period poverty and discrimination.
I do not have a problem with the issue of these parts, and because I encourage people time to time. No need to mention it. You know, I used to buy it.
You have to buy it. It's a
buy
responsibility
it, from the shop. Tell us the process of using this. If you use it, how do you clean it? how do you use it again? It's important.
So the process is very simple. Like, women should be very careful when it comes to things that go onto their private parts, whether it is pad or the underwear you use. We should know that we should keep it hygiene. So first, wash your hands with soap and water, even if you're not using pad. As long as you're going to the restroom to clean up or to ease yourself, the first thing you should do is wash your hands with soap and water. If you don't have it, scrub it with water very well. So for the pads, it's simple to use. You have your underwear. You place the pad onto the underwear like this. So you have the buttons to secure it so that it will not move, or when you sit down, the blood will stain your clothes. So when you use it, within 4 to 6 hours, you need to change the pad. It depends on how absorbent the pad is. Like, this new material we are using has more absorption rate and it dries faster. That is why we are switching. Like, we want something that is very comfortable for women and girls to use. So when you use this, within 6 hours, you need to change. Or you look at your bleeding, how heavy do you bleed? So if you know you will soak a pad within 1 hour, you need to change it. You will not say, Jennifer changes her pad within 6 hours. So I have to wait for 6 hours. That's going to be disaster for you. So after 6 hours or 4 hours, you go to the restroom, change your pad. Again, before you touch your pad, wash your hands, change your pad. You have so when we make the products, we have 2 bags. We call the dirty bag and the clean bag. So that is for schoolgirls, because we know that the toilets and water in schools is always limited, or you don't even have privacy. So you will not have water to wash the pad. So when you have this pad, you just fold it. Simple. Just press it, put the pad in the dirty bag, and use the clean pad again and use it. So when you finish using, like the dirty pad, if you're in a place where there is water, just soak the pad. Or if, like, women will say, I don't want to touch the blood. So just take the pad, pour water onto it, the blood will come out. Then you soak the pad within 5 minutes. Don't put bleach. Just use water and a detergent or soap that doesn't have any of these acids or chemicals. You wash the pad, dry it on the sunlight. If you cannot dry it on the sunlight, or you live in a community where you have other people, extended family setups, so you dry it indoors. But before you use, for this one, you have to iron it. But these other ones, you don't need to iron it, because we know the challenges that other people face, like they cannot iron the parts and all that. So it's pretty simple to use. You can prevent a lot of infections.
Yeah, I think that is quite clear in relation to this explanation. Just before you go, I want you to touch on another area, because Girls Pride is not the only thing that you do. I want you to touch a little bit about the advocacy that you've been doing in relation to eye care. Just quickly, just the last time we were having a conversation in relation to your One Young World Award, and you had to use all that money and pump it into advocacy and make sure people have the proper eye care that they deserve. So just quickly take us through that before we leave here.
So Eye Care for All started in 2016 with $10. That was my night allowance that I had. So I used to work at the eye hospitals, and I see a lot of people, young people with glaucoma eye disease. So I feel that if we have all the young people coming with glaucoma, and glaucoma leads to irreversible blindness. So what happens to the Gambia if all our young people get blind? So I said I should start something, because it's like people don't know about the disease. Let's raise awareness and then see how to pick out these patients and how do we prevent blindness in the community. So that was how I started. I just used $10. That was the salary, night allowance on top of my salary. So I bought glaucoma eye drops. So in the clinic, I tell people, if you see any patient with glaucoma, they cannot afford the drugs, let me know. I'll give them drugs. So we write their names and do follow-ups, do home visits for them. And then we started with home visiting individuals. Then eventually we had a lot of people who were interested. So we started going into communities and all that. And then in 2018, I had a scholarship to the One Young World Summit. Funded by OPEC Fund for International Development. And then there again, I was just with my speech coach. We were practicing 5 minutes before my speech. And then they told me, make sure you are at the closing ceremony. So at the closing ceremony, I was announced the winner for that award. And then when we came back, it's because of the award, because of Eye Care for All, that we got the award. So when we came back, we said, because during that advocacy, we screened over 100 people with cataracts who were blind with cataracts. And these are people, the blindness is reversible. After surgery, $800 is you can see again. So we came back and said, we're going to invest the money back. We did cataract surgery for over 100 people because we had other people who were coming in to support us. So just imagine if 100 farmers in the Gambia who were blind, sitting home, not doing anything, their kids were not going to school, they could not provide the basic needs for their family. If they had their sight back, they go back to the school. That is a lot of impact to the community. That is why we believe the award is not for us to enjoy or celebrate.
Yeah, you could have bought a car or bought a house from it, but you decided to pump it all into...
It's to give back. It's for the community, so we give it back to the community.
Okay, so finally, let's talk about being a freelance nurse. I know you're not working currently for any specific healthcare unit. You're on your own. How does that feel, being on your own, not actually working in a structured setting, structured hospital setting? How does that feel?
So being a freelance nurse, for me, I feel it's more relaxing. Because when you go to the hospitals, the lack of resources, the attitude of some people, staff, and then people don't, for me, what I would say, I'm here to work, not to make friends, so let's just get the job done. So we have a lot of challenges. Well, as a freelance nurse, one of the things that I'm doing for free is like healthcare consulting. Like you have a prescription, you don't understand, you contact me, I'll let you know how to use the drugs, or you have a problem, you cannot go to the hospital, you call me or you come to my house, I'll tell you, give you advice, like we give them counseling services, tell them if they have diagnosis that they don't understand or they want to go to the hospital, they have problems, we tell them this is the place you should go to, this is the place. So one of the things I don't do is I don't administer IV medications like injections. I don't do that. I don't prescribe drugs for you. So what I can do for you right now, even though I have a licensing, current licensing, but what I do is counsel you, advise you, like dietary advices, what you should do, the medication, the diagnosis, or if you need overseas treatment, how do we help, you know, to facilitate for you to get financial support through other networks. Yeah, but it's really amazing.
But at some point, will you eventually work in a structured hospital?
Yeah, sure.
Or
so it's because I took time off to concentrate on Girls Pride. See, like, how do we get a better product for our people, and then how do we get more people? Because currently I've been able to employ 11 of my colleagues, nurses, on part-time as a trainer. So like you said, men are in the middle of Girls Pride. We had male trainers because these are the people, who can stand up, talk, and normalize the conversation, so that when the young people, the young boys come up, they grow up, become fathers, they know that it's their responsibility to buy parts.
It's their responsibility. It's your responsibility, Ibrahim, to be buying parts for.
A few years back, if you talk about menstruation,
you run away.
About parts, you talk about these
Why the things are changing now.
But it's important now we learn these things, because these are part of our life.
It's part of
90% of my trainers are men.
And it's a very good thing. And I know that's a deliberate thing. Yes. It is deliberate. So finally, you should do that. So finally, we are done with you. But if today I'm a young girl and I'm about to see my period next week, let's just say, obviously you don't get to know these things, but for example, what tips would you give me? Just 3 tips in relation to making sure that I handle my menstruation right.
So our body is fair to us. They give us signals.
Sometimes.
So women, we should be very careful. Let's know our body. The signals. You have the premenstrual syndromes, your breast tenderness, abdominal cramps, you know, waist pains and all that. And then one simple signal, 24 or 48 hours before you see your period, you see something like a plug. The discharge that comes from you is like brownish. So if you observe that, you should know. And our body tells us that this is what is happening. So I would say women should know their menstrual cycle.
So they should observe themselves.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And you talked about breast tenderness, which is quite painful for us sometimes. Moody, the chocolate thing, and all of that. There's so many things. Thank you so much, Fatu. I know Balda is not going to understand the language we are trying to speak right now.
I am confused.
You're confused, but you need to learn these things.
You mentioned chocolate.
Yeah. Well, these are just hormonal stuffs that we get sometimes.
So, Jennifer, before we end, I would like to to show appreciation to the Stone Circle
Yeah.
Awards, yourself for giving us, always giving us platform, because the TV gives us the opportunity to impact more people when it comes to sensitizing. And also Kujeka, who was one of the people, when I had the idea, I told about, she was like, you should go in for it. This is something that is brilliant.
She always does.
Yes.
That's just how she is.
Yeah.
She's a pusher.
She's
a pusher.
She is one of those reasons that I am here. Like, whenever I want to give up, she was like, you know what? You need to grow your business. You know, don't give up. So, Lamin Kamara from UNFPA, Musubakoto Sao, Joseph Jata, Aissatou Boku, you know, my family, my friends, my mom is always like, even if we are sewing until 3 a.m., my mom, my dad, they just sitting there
looking at
waiting.
You know, that's beautiful.
So yeah, everybody is supportive. That is why we are here today. So
all right, I think
I would like to thank everybody.
She's emotional.
We need more people like you in the society.
Yeah, I can see the emotions right now. So we just get to wrap it up. We don't want any tears here. Thank you so much, Fatu, for coming. Congratulations once again, and thank you so much for what you do. And I'm inviting you to meet Balde and give him some lectures, especially the chocolate aspect of all discussion.
I'm coming.
All right, so viewers, we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to Click. That is our entertainment update. Do stay tuned.
Now, with Aji Bank, you can make your vehicle number plate payments without any hassle. Walk into any of our bank branches or agencies located at Banjul, New Joswang, Karaba Avenue, Bakote, Tranquil Bursubi, Brikama, Basse, Farafenye, Numuyel or Garawal. Your number plate payments now made easy with Aji Bank. For more information, please call us on 422-8405 or 377-5811. Aji Bank, your investment partner. Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
From that short break, if you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And now, like I mentioned, while we were doing the newspaper review, I mentioned that Tata Dinding passed away, and when it comes to the entertainment update, we'll actually give you in-depth information in relation to his legacy. So we're joined by Skengman Sweezy, Buba Fati, to give us an update in relation to this. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, good morning, viewers. Skengman Sweezy. It's a sad day for the Gambia.
Yes.
Not only the Gambia, it's a sad day for Africa itself, because we lost a legend, a musical legend, who passed away on Saturday. And then we hope God, Allah grant him Jannah as well. So before I go deeply into the topic, I just want us to take a look at some of the things that we combine together to make sure people watch the work that he's been doing as well. So let's just watch this and then we continue the conversation. The Gambia choral legend Tadadindin Jobate was born in 1965 in Birkama in the West Coast region. Son of Malamini Jobate and brother of Pa Bobo Jobate, Tadadindin has been a catalyst in the evolution and reinvention of choral music in the Gambia that appealed to both the old and the young generation. Truly, Tadadindin was a genius when it comes to playing the kora. He was admitted at Birkama Health Center on Saturday afternoon and was in coma for a while. He passed away at the same hospital on the 21st of August 2021 and was laid to rest on the 22nd of August at the Birkama Sateba Cemetery. May his soul rest in Jannah. To make So we pay tribute to him. I hope that was a piece we put together yesterday to show appreciation, to appreciate the work he's been doing in the music industry. He's a legend, and you know, people always say this: legends stay forever. The work that he's been doing is always going to stay forever, and he's always going to stay in our heart as well. So with me today, I have Dembo Jobate. D-Jobs, welcome to the show.
That's right. Thank you very much, Sweezy. I'm glad to be here.
You're part of the Jelikunda. You're Jobate as well.
That's
so
right.
you were brought up together in the home of a Giriot.
That's right.
You guys are known as the musician in our local, class and other stuff like that.
That's right.
So how was it like?
That's right.
Like being young and then brought up by the Jelikunda people, getting to know Tata Dinding as well.
That's right, Sweezy. Thank you. Growing up, at some point, we all wanted to be Tata Dinding, Jaliba, Jaliyankuba Saho, Pa Bobo. It's definitely a great loss, not only to the Jalikunda family, but then to the entire world. Tata's fans are very diverse, we all know, within Gambia and outside Gambia. Obviously, hearing such a news has struck all of us hard, and we all had to be there yesterday.
Exactly.
But of course, you've had the deliberations from different people regarding the true Tata Dinding, and of course his absence in Jalikunda. And then two questions also arise. What will be the future of Salamban without Tata Dinding? I and Tata had this cordial rapport because we also had a vision to promote traditional music. And it so happened there's this event that is yearly organized by MC Sane. He's a senior promoter based in Brikama. So each year they have this Korite Special and Tobaski Special with Tata. In fact, I had my last interaction with him on stage, at Brikama Joko. On that night, I remember we were talking about so many things. The need for us to involve the younger folk in what they are doing. In fact, he have an outstanding project with Nyanchu and so many other young artists. I remember also in 2014, I worked with him. Then I was working with ST on the Respect Our Song, because there was a line that ST dedicated to him. At one time they announced that he was there, when actually he wasn't. That was in 2014. That's why this time around, when we had the news at first, and then they came again to say, okay, he's not dead. People were a bit confused before we get to realize it was too late. But Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, yesterday you were in Brikama. You've seen the crowd that came, to pay their last respect to somebody that I frame as a legendary icon. I think one thing that is important is the younger persons in music business, we should be so much conscious about people like Tata before we lose them. We would love to see a future where Tata would be involved in so many projects with young people when it comes to traditional percussion and all these things.
Now, he was this open-minded person. He welcomes everybody with good heart and try to make sure he motivate the younger artists that are coming up as well.
Yes.
So what would you say as when you were young, coming up, listening to Tata Dinding, how was it like for you? How was the vibe like?
It was very, very special. Like I said, at that time in Brikama, in our clip, I remember somebody would be Tata Dinding, the entire band. So we would, imitate and then, mime his songs and all these things. We did it together. We look up to them, Tata, the Dinding Jello, especially the reflection that we see, because in Tata, you could see a befitting, relationship, despite the distinction in generation, but then we feel, we vibe to the songs of Tata. You will be surprised, even the events that we've been organizing in Brikama, you will see these younger generation girls and ladies that would dance to the tunes of Wali Seka, dance to the tunes of Tata, because they see themselves in Tata's music more than any other traditional artists in the Gambia.
Yeah, and yesterday I was at the burial and I compiled certain things and put them together for you guys to watch. Let's take a look at this, and when we come back, we'll continue the interview.
That's right.
ومن عمل صالحا فلنفسه ومن أساء فعليها وما ربك مما ولكم مما آيول قرآنكم أمام بيابيجي أمام أتدوكو لنو مول بأكار لنو وين مطونيا المزار ونسوندا نكما تمام سلطانكم كمان وعاملوا الصالحات يبارك الولاء من بارك له يمينك يوكل يمين بلا يوبلا مؤمن يوكل
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم.
That was it yesterday. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
So I was there with you yesterday.
Yes,
Jobs.
yes,
We
very
saw
well.
the delegation.
That's
it
right.
was really amazing.
Yeah.
And then it was sad as well because
Exactly.
we saw people from different part of the world that came to
Yes.
attend the
Yes.
funeral yesterday.
That's right.
So just give us your own take on it.
Well, definitely it's a sad moment. You've also heard them say that Tata is so much connected to even those that sit at dungeons. In fact, I would make mention of the headquarters dungeon
Exactly.
where I belong in Brikama.
Yeah.
And I've also heard the package that
That
they
the business
presented,
was presented
exactly
yesterday.
on our behalf. And then, in fact, at some point, Tata declared, you know, that he is a member of headquarters. And headquarters also is a dungeon that have a higher regards for Tata. In fact, we are planning to stage a fundraising concert, you know, with him. Little do we know, this moment we'll not find him here. That was a proper declaration. I like the way people mention that. That goes to say Tata was a very accommodative individual, and he would in fact come to your level to speak your language. You'll be surprised. He's that person who will even tell you Nakala, you know, Nyadi Long, you know, yesterday Senator,
language,
exactly, yeah. You know, so Senator was in fact playing his conversation with him, you know, on WhatsApp before his demise. So basically, everybody have a cordial rapport with Tata. He was a very down-to-earth person. And the young artists in the music industry, like I said earlier, were so much connected to Tata than, you know, any of these traditional artists.
Yeah, we saw yesterday the president couldn't make it there, but he sent a delegation.
Exactly.
And the UDP were there as well. Other political parties were there as well.
Yeah, Tata Dinding of all people. Yeah, he used to be. Tata
and
Dinding
most
of all
of all, Jelliba Krade was present as well.
Exactly.
It's like he took the funeral like he has lost a family member,
yes,
a close brother,
yeah,
that they're in the same game, the music industry itself.
That's right.
So I was glad when I saw him yesterday there.
Yeah.
And then according to what the Imam was saying,
yeah,
he's playing a great role since when he passed away, the day he passed away.
That's right.
He was giving support to the family and
yeah,
making sure that things are put in place as well.
Very well.
So which is really a big motivation.
Indeed.
And some other Gambian artists were there as well.
Indeed.
So ST posted this picture saying how close they were together.
Different
wishing
sentiments.
him good luck in his new destination that he has gone to.
That's right.
And same to Jisul too. He posted something, and
That's
you
right.
know they gave comment on other stuff like that as well.
That's right. That's
so
right.
what I want to elaborate on is Gambians don't celebrate our legends except when they're no longer alive.
That's right.
Which is something we should really stop.
Yeah, key thing is
Let's
important.
Try this, yeah,
it's important. But then again, there are people who took it up to celebrate our legends. I mean, the likes of Solso, I remember the project that he came up with in 2018, the GAM Icons. You know, we brought the video here and we took it to GRTS because I was in Jollof Arts as operations manager. So that project found me there. Mart Snake's GAM Icon. I remember we went to Tata on that day to take his scene with Mart Snake. And we also would encourage our TV stations to consider, you know, certain important things like that. We should celebrate our people. Gam Icon video, well, I would not say our TV stations don't play it so often, but then it's very, very limited. I think we should be very mindful of certain things like that.
Yeah, so Balde, you growing up, how was it like listening to Tata Dinding?
Well, Tata Dinding is a person that I listened to his music when I was very young, especially his song where he said Tata Dinding Nala Mul Dinding Jalo.
Yeah.
You know, those are songs that I listen to. I am a fan of Kora. I listen to the likes of Pa Bobo Jobate, the younger brother. I listen to Jaliba, Tata Dinding, King Kora. These are people that I listen to. But this thing makes me feel, as you mentioned, people don't support, people don't celebrate until when our people are dead. That's the time when they will come up with different messages. I think it's important for us to start now. We should start now. We change the narrative.
Exactly.
You know, we make sure we give them the platform. Kora music. I think we need to have a particular time on all our media houses. You know, although some are doing it, but I think it's not enough. We need to do a lot.
That's right.
And I think there should be a special show or event dedicated only to Tata Dinding alone, because that man has played a great role in the cultural music of the Gambia.
Indeed.
You get it?
Indeed.
Since when our parents were young, they were listening to him.
That's right.
Up till really kids were born, we were listening to him as well. So he has set a bar that it's going to be very hard for we to forget about him.
That's right.
He's always going to be in our minds and in our hearts as well. So Jennifer,
you're talking about this and I feel so guilty because there's not much, to be honest, that I know about him. There's not much, probably because I do not see his images all around, like you mentioned, being celebrated. In as much as I'm not a big fan of such music, but we hear other artists in other countries who are using instruments, the likes of Sidiki Jabate. I listen to Sidiki Jabate's music. That is because the publicity is there. People are supporting it. Gambians will go the extra mile to pay a lot of money to go see him. And he plays the same kora that Tata Dinding was playing. So I'm sitting here feeling guilty. I just feel like there's a lot that needs to be done in relation to Gambian artists, their publicity, and them also living a good life. Mr. Mboju was talking about the fact that we should not only leave it to the government, it's also left to us as individuals.
Exactly.
You them face us in plastic.
Exactly.
But if that's not happening,
but it's not at all. It's not happening.
That's the thing.
It's something that we lack.
I think it's important for us to take note of these things. There was a time I attended a particular meeting with Jaliba Kuyate at the hospitality school. Jaliba said he's getting old. And as time goes on, he will not be able to do what he's doing right now. He said the young people should come now and learn traditional music. Now, this is what Jaliba mentioned.
In fact, at one time, that's what Tata Dinding did.
When you talk about Kora music in this country, you think about Tata, you think about Jaliba, Pa Bobo. What next now? What should we
do?
Question
is,
very true.
The question that people ask is, who is going to replace Tata Dinding?
That's right.
Because he's no more.
But DJ, so I know Surah Suso is very young and he's trying. But Surah, does he have the support? Because I can remember the last time he presented his album to me. How many people know that he has that album coming up? How many people listen to Surah Suso? And he's quite young and he even played Kora for the Queen. How many people know this? And he's alive, he's existing, he's young.
But yet still we don't support
him. We have to take ownership of what we own. That's the reality. And we need to be well informed about the importance of these things. The young artists needs to be attached to these bigger artists that are doing traditional music so that they can know the instruments. It's important. The likes of Jalimadi, you know, are doing what Jaliba Kuyate and Jalinaya and others. So they should be so much attached to these traditional artists, the elder ones, so that they can learn from them. And you'll be surprised so often what they would also mention, like you said, I am not surprised that Jaliba said that.
He said that.
So often, you know, he will state that. It is the younger generation that should be attached to the older generation, to be submissive to them, so that they can...
But if you look at the connection between Jaliba Kuyate and Lalo Keba Drame, You see, Lalo Keba was a legend.
That's right.
People know Lalo Keba. When it comes to Kora, worldwide, he is #1.
Yeah.
Even Jaliba Kuyate can attest to that. You understand? But you see, Jaliba, when Lalo Keba died, Jaliba took over.
Exactly.
You understand? So the Kora music did not fade away.
Now the issue with our generation, the issue with our generation is
that's my fear.
They don't want to go.
Okay, that's your. That at some
the
point.
future.
Yeah.
What about?
But we have the likes of Surasu.
No, we have the likes of them. But the issue is, you need to learn to become professional in what you're doing. Now the issue with our generation is, some of them feel big to go meet Jaliba. I want to learn this. I want to be under you. I want to work with you. I want to know what you're doing. And to be honest, I know people like Jaliba, you go meet them, say you want to study this. They're going to help you with open-handed.
He's very, very open.
He's very open. He's going to help you. But what people keep saying is, Jaliba or these Kora people are not helping the music industry. You don't expect them to help if you don't go meet them and ask them for help. You should go meet them and ask them. These people are elderly people. You know, they don't only do music. They have other things that they do apart from music as well. And those people have created the space for themselves wherein, even without the music, they still survive from what they're doing.
Yeah, because they are praise singers.
Exactly.
Yes, they are.
So now, we, the younger generation, what we should realize is, we need those people. They are not going to be there forever. We need to take their places. We need to represent them when they are no more there. So it's time for us to go meet them, sit with them, learn from them. So in case they are no more, we can represent them in other platforms as well.
That's right.
So we're running out of time.
Yeah,
Final
that's
words
right.
out there.
No, that's it. It's important. In fact, before Tata's demise, like I said, the project that we were going to come up with would have been the project where the young artists, the younger generation, would so much mingle with the older generation as far as the traditional music is concerned. Because we also realized there was high need for us to, bring them, to what we are doing. Due cognizance of the fact that most of the music enthusiasts also thought what they are doing is some kind of local, and they were never ready to accommodate the traditional percussionists. So we were going to change that narration, only to witness what happened. We were going to change the narration, but it's so unfortunate that it has to happen this way. But I will urge the younger generation to be so much attached to the older generation, because we want to see
we're running out of
brighter
time.
future.
Thank you very much for coming, DJ.
Thank you.
And then we said RIP to Taradini Njobate, our hearts and condolences to his family as well.
Yes. I watched a video, an interview. He praised his wives. He said they've been very supportive.
Very well.
So
very well.
we are praying for them and the whole family to be able to be patient, at this hard time.
So our heartfelt condolences goes to the Jobakunda family. Jobate Kunda family rather. We're sorry and we wish him highest place in Jannah. May God forgive him for all the sins, and may he be forgiven for whatever he's done so far. So we're saying bye-bye for today.
Inshallah. So viewers, I'm afraid that is all we have for you in this edition of QTVs this morning. Till we come your way tomorrow. I'm about to say next week.
We are doing this tomorrow.
And if I say next week, I go outside, people might be beating me up and they'll be like,
sponsors.
We need you to
sponsors,
get this
please.
program going. Yeah. All right. So till we come your way tomorrow. Bye for now.
All right.